Thank you very much, Cole. I'm glad to get a chance to mention a few things here this evening because housing, as we all know, is it's so important, and there's so much talk about it, and there's so many people not being able to be housed. And if you have, I understand that this is a bill to borrow more money for to help and to build more houses and to provide more housing. And if that's the case, I do welcome that, because there are, as I've stated here in recent weeks, there are many people leaving our shores here because when they come to the age of 25 to 32, they realise that they can't buy or build a house for themselves, Minister. And they're at the stage when they have to decide. Going forward, when they were young, maybe they were younger than that, they were happy care and free, but when they intend to settle down, they start the thing that they need the most is a house, Minister. And I feel the budget, while it addressed a lot of things, it didn't help the working class people that are trying to come up to the mark of buying or building a house. We have many things that's preventious. First of all, I think that people that want to build a house for themselves, they should be applauded and helped every way in the world. But we have preventative, Minister, I've highlighted before, we have planning stipulation, and in Kerry there's actually two things preventing a lot of people of building houses. And one is the urban generated pressure clause, that is to stop people from coming out of a town or an urban setting and building out the country. But that same clause is affecting the people that never went into town, that are outside and want to build a house near their fathers and mothers, not farmers' sons or daughters. They are being catered for. By and large, they're being seen after for. But these category of people could be next door to many of those. And they just have a site, or they can buy a site very local to them. They are being prevented. I've asked the Taoiseach, I've asked the Tánaiste, I've asked you all to address that and do something about it, because it is very unfair. They're asking nothing of nobody, only permission, planning permission. And I feel that we should do our best to help those. In Kerry as well, we have over 100 kilometres of national primary roads, secondary and primary roads. And on those roads, you can't build a new house and exit onto those roads. That's a stipulation that's there since 2012. Imagine, that's 13 years. Many people have fell by the wayside when they couldn't get that permission to come out. An existing entrance, you see. So I'm asking to deal with that. And then others then that want to get on the housing list, or when they see they can't build a house or buy a house or build a house, there's a cap of 37,000 on a couple, and they can't get on the housing list. I actually have a man and a wife with 10 children now, and they're failing to rent a house because he's over the threshold to get on the housing list. He can't get any housing support at all. I've asked the Minister for Housing to deal with that and to see, has he any discretion or any way of allowing a man and his wife with 10 children. It is not often that we hear of that size of a family now, but they are to be applauded. They've reared them so far, and the house that they have is they have to hand it up. The man wants to put his own son into the house, and he needs the house back. And it was to be vacated by the end of September, but you've got an extra couple of months now, and that's all, Minister. So you have that, and that cap is totally wrong. 37,000 isn't enough. It should be somewhere like 57 or 60,000 to be fair in today's world, and for what it costs to build a house and for what rents are costing in Kerry. I mean, you're talking about in the surrounds of Killarney, you're talking 1,600 to 2,400 euros a month for a house. and that's serious money, and people do need help to try to do the basic thing, to keep a roof over their heads. And I'm asking you to look at that threshold, because look, and there's a few other things that we need. When the country was going good enough, going back maybe 20, 30 years ago, when the local authorities were building houses, they bought sites in different places like Guinea-Gwilly. I'm calling for that now, for Guinea-Gwilly, the likes of Curra, the likes of Brasta, all these places, to buy a site where the council could come along every couple of years and build 4 or 5 or 10 houses. That's not happening at all now. Even though I have heard these saying that he've allocated money to the local authorities to buy money to buy or to build houses. It's not happening, Minister. And I'm asking you to get after the local authority. What happened then when people got a house or a rural cottage? The rural cottage. The rural cottages aren't being built at all now. And the first thing, when the person was they were so glad to get the council to build the house for them on their own site, when they got their legs under them at all, the first thing they wanted to do was to purchase the house back so that they'd be owners of the house. That's not allowed at all now. Any house that's built since 2016 by our local authority in Kerry, whether it is a rural cottage or whether it is inside the housing estate, it can't be purchased if it is built after 2016. People do have a need and a want. It's something that we prided in ourselves going back to generations, that we would own our own house. I'm asking you to look at that. Because I can't understand the logic of that. When he got his money back for the house that he built, and that money went forward again to build more houses, or to what it was used for in Kerry for a long time was dealing with the voids. So there was no delay in the voids being brought back into use, and that's stopped, Minister. I'm asking you to look at that, please, because it's very important, and we were going well when we were able to do things like that. I don't see, that's not happening now, and people do have a need, and they were happy in the intervening time to live and rent in the council house, but their ambition was to keep it well and to eventually own it when they could, and that was always their ambition. I'm asking you to please look at that, because it's very important. And if there is extra money now, you should look at new ways. And it's mostly the voluntary housing bodies are either buying up the estates that are being built, or they're building these estates, and they can never be purchased. People understand that. And that's not what everyone wants. Some people are happy to rent, but most of the people that I know and have known in the past, they want to eventually be able to buy out their house, and that's not allowable with the rules that we have now. I'm asking you to get the local authorities building, because they did it very effectively in the past, and they spread the people out around in the different parishes. Places like Scotland, we don't even have a treatment plant there. Cork, we don't have a treatment plant. My van, they can't build any more housing estates there, because, and it's very near Tralee, because the treatment system ended up to standard. And I hear that he more money got, and we are in the process of getting it. I'm asking you to do those things. Also, in Kinmare, there was no estate built for a private estate built in 20 years. Imagine that. We were held up because of the sewers, the treatment plant. 40 million euros have been spent now, but there's 2 current housing applications. The total amount is 169 houses. They're being refused because there isn't enough water in Kinmare. Even though we're surrounded by water, and it's raining most of the time down our way, but even though, and we're surrounded by lakes and everything, we don't have adequate water now for new estates. I'm asking you to address this, and he have given more money and more ammunition to Irish Water in recent times. I'm asking you to deal with this urgently, because people are leaving Kinmare. They're leaving Kilgarvan and Sneem because they can't They can't buy a house anywhere. I'm asking you to deal with this urgently.
Thank you.
They're gone out for further information. I'm asking you to get involved as a unit, as a government, the Taoiseach, or whoever it takes, the housing minister, get down there and get that sorted out.
Thank you.